Hey everyone, and welcome. So if you've ever spent time in a South African community, you know this site, right? The Spaza shop on the corner? It's just a part of daily life. But behind that familiar front, there's a really fascinating and evolving business story going on. So today we're going to break down what really makes them tick.
I mean, you've probably wondered about this yourself. You see one shop that's just buzzing with people from sunrise to well after sunset, and then another one, maybe just a block away, that seems to be barely hanging on. Well, today we're going to chalk up some answers by looking at what the data tells us.
Because, there has been a real change. Over the past several years, we've seen this pretty significant shift in who owns these shops, and more importantly, the fundamental way they're run. Okay, so first things first, let's just get on the same page. A Spaza shop is that small, informal convenience store, a lot of times run right out of someone's house. But it's so much more than just a place to buy bread and milk. For many neighborhoods, it's an absolute economic and social lifeline. And really, at the very heart of this whole shift is a tale of two completely different ways of doing business. We're going to put them side by side, the traditional South African-owned Spaza shop versus the model that's often used by immigrant entrepreneurs. All right, let's kick things off with how they're owned. The traditional model, that's usually a single person, very often a woman, running the shop to bring in some extra money for the family. Now compare that to the immigrant-run model. Here you see a lot of collective ownership, people pooling their resources. And for them, this isn't a side hustle. It's a full-time, full-on business, almost always operated by men. Okay, now this is where things get really, really interesting. Just look at the difference in the startup money. South African owners are typically putting in somewhere between 1.5 to 5,000 rand. The immigrant owners, on average, 45,000 rand. That's not just a gap, it's a massive chasm. And honestly, it changes the entire game. And this chart just lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? That 43,500 rand difference is, quite literally, the foundation for everything that follows. With that much more cash from the get-go, you can buy way more stock, you can offer more variety. You can basically weather the early days of a business much more easily. They're not even starting on the same playing field.
And that big money advantage leads directly to this: how they buy their goods. See, as sole traders, traditional owners just don't have much leverage with suppliers. But immigrant entrepreneurs, they often create these buying groups, pulling all their money together to buy in massive bulk, right from the big wholesalers. This gets them huge discounts that a single, small shop owner could only dream of.
So how does this all look day to day? Well, the traditional Spaza might just be open part-time, with pretty limited hours. The immigrant-run shop, on the other hand, is a full-time machine. We're talking open from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. They are maximizing every single hour of business, and they're even hiring staff to keep it all going. Okay, so we've seen the big differences. Now let's get into the anatomy of this success. What are the specific strategies that actually turn that huge initial investment into a business that absolutely thrives on the corner? This quote from Mzansi magazine really just hits the nail on the head. It's not just about one person's bank account, it's about the power of the entire group. These strong business networks, they're like the engine room that lets them use their collective strength for individual success. And this right here, this breaks down exactly how that engine works. Step 1, form the groups. Step 2, pool all that cash together for serious buying power. Step 3, that big pot of money gets them those incredible bulk discounts. And the final, absolutely crucial step, the network makes sure there's a constant, reliable supply of goods flowing to every single shop. It's a brilliant, self-sustaining system. And when you've got a great supply chain and lower costs, you can start to branch out. You can diversify. So they aren't just selling the basics. They start adding in higher profit items like hot food, maybe selling liquor, or even sticking an arcade game in the corner. Every single one of those is a new way to make money, which makes the whole business that much stronger. But, and this is so important to understand, this business success doesn't just happen in a bubble. The story is not just about numbers and supply chains. There are some major challenges that you will never, ever see on a balance sheet. According to the source material, this success is often achieved while facing huge societal hurdles. We're talking about dealing with xenophobia, with discrimination, sometimes from the very communities they're trying to serve. And all of that is on top of trying to navigate a maze of complex and restrictive regulations. These aren't just business problems. They make the daily act of just running a shop an uphill battle. So the fact that these businesses manage to thrive anyway, well, it's just a powerful testament to some incredible resilience and a seriously tough entrepreneurial spirit.
Their success is built on business smarts, for sure, but also on sheer hard work and the strength they draw from their own community support networks.
So where does this all lead? What does it mean for the future? Well, the source suggests the story doesn't have to end with just competition. There might actually be a different, more collaborative way forward for everyone.
And this final quote really drives that point home perfectly. The end goal here isn't for one business model to crush the other one. The real opportunity is in creating a retail sector that's more inclusive and ultimately more prosperous for everybody involved.
And what could that actually look like in the real world? Well, it means sharing what works. South African owners learning about the power of collective buying, and immigrant owners learning the nuances of the local market. It means tackling regulations together and pushing for policies that help all small businesses thrive. Really, at the end of the day, it's about empowering the entire community and growing the economy for everyone. Which kind of leaves us with this final question to think about. When you look at your local corner shop, what's the story you see playing out? Is it just a story of competition, or is it an opportunity for collaboration that could lift up an entire community? The answer to that question could really define the future of this vital part of the economy. Thanks so much for joining me.